Okay guys, in this video we'll be looking at the Eachine VR-007 FPV goggles from GotHeliRC.com. I got my goggles in the Assassin 180 ready to fly FPV quadcopter kit, but GotHeliRC is now selling the goggles by themselves. And basically when you get either of those packages, either the goggles on their own or the ready to fly quadcopter, you'll get the goggles, the 2 batteries, an antenna, and a lens cleaning cloth. And I also got some documentation with mine and the FPV quadcopter kit. I'm not sure. I'm sure there's some kind of documentation with the goggles when you buy them by themselves, but I don't have that to show. Now I've been flying for the last 2 weeks with the Assassin 180 and these goggles, and I've gotten to know some of the good and the bad, and I'm going to just talk about some of this stuff now. The batteries, you get the two 800 milliamp hour 2S batteries. They're 7.4 volts or 8.4 volts fully charged, and it seems to me that they don't last very long. If you're only going to fly for 3 minutes or so, you might get 2 flights out of them, but if you're going to fly for 5 minutes or 6 minutes or however long, I would charge them to full after every flight. That's why you get 2 of them, I think. They have a little power meter on the side, and I like to charge them before they get below the middle. They have this 9-volt battery design with these tabs, and it seems like their intended purpose is to be able to use a regular 9-volt battery if you wanted to, and that wouldn't be that big of a stretch since, like I said, they're 8.4 volts fully charged. 9 volts isn't that big of a stretch. Charging them, it uses a micro USB on the bottom here. Not such a big deal, but I did have some places where I just had an issue finding somewhere to charge them. I had to get a lighter socket charger for my car to charge them at certain places. But the goggles themselves, I think for the price, it's hard to find something better than this for this kind of a price. The straps are comfortable. They have nice foam on the front. They're lightweight. You can change the antenna out for a better antenna. The receiver is built in. You just push the button to change channels, and you know, like I said, you can put a circular polarized or whatever you like on here. And I haven't tried that yet, actually. I'm going to go ahead and try that, changing the antennas out on this and my Assassin 180 and seeing if it improves range or anything. I'm not sure if it matters. I actually got pretty good range with just this antenna in testing. And the antenna that's on, this is a monopole, or they call them rubber duckies. There's also just a monopole on my Assassin 180, and I actually got impressive range, I thought, for just these, what a lot of people call not the greatest antennas in the world. So I don't know, but anyway, the goggles have a pretty wide field of view. I'm going to show that to you now. You just have this little pocket. I wouldn't call it a pocket, maybe a sleeve on the side, and plug them in like that, and there you go. You got some static to look at. I was going to shoot some video, or actually I did shoot some video with my GoPro, but as you can see, there's some glare, and I was getting some glare, and the camera light was flashing into the lens, and it's just, I couldn't get any kind of footage that really looked like what I was seeing when I flew. But as far as the main problems, if you want to know what kind of problems I experienced with these, like I said, I think the price point is good if you just wanted to try FPV, but if you're serious, you might want to look at something more expensive, because these are just what they are. You have the Fresnel lens in there, and it isn't adjustable, so everybody's eyes are going to see this differently. For me, I don't need glasses or anything, so I had a little bit of eye strain when I wore this, like maybe as if I was wearing somebody else's glasses. So there's a possibility that if you wear glasses already, these might be great for you. I mean, I don't know if you maybe just have a light prescription, like a -2 or 4, it might work out just right, because like I said, for me, it was just a small amount of eye strain. When I looked into them, I could just feel my eyes adjust a little tiny bit. And after that, it was fine. I could see, everything was still clear. It's just something about the Fresnel lens. It's not the greatest thing. There's a certain degree, I think, of getting what you pay for with this kind of thing. Besides that, I prefer to kind of pull my nose down into the lens a little bit rather than just having the bridge of my nose resting here. I would actually pull the tip of my nose down, pull the goggles down over my nose a little bit, because that would tilt the goggles down a little, and that felt more comfortable because it seems like you have to kind of look up at the screen, and I don't know if there's a purpose for that or a reason, but just doing that, pulling them down and angling them a little bit really helped and made it a lot more comfortable for me. And these are all just little nitpicky things. I mean, if you really want to try FPV, there's not going to be any perfect solution right now. There's no HD FPV unless you want to spend thousands of dollars. You know, I really think this is a great first set of FPV goggles for somebody just wanting to check things out with FPV. The main issue, if I had any real big gripe, I had one day, I was kneeling down and I just set up everything, put it down, and I was squatting down and I had the goggles on. It was kind of a hot day. It was probably about 75, 80 degrees, and I was sweating, and I got a fair amount of fog on the lens, and I could still see through the fog, but I had another issue with my quadcopter, and it resulted in a crash. So I basically cut the throttle and let it crash, but that's neither here or there. The fog was part of me losing perspective, losing orientation, and so I don't know if that's going to be a big deal with everybody, depending on what time of day you fly, the temperatures. Like I said, I used them a bunch of times without any fogging, and it wasn't that big of a deal. I know the old Fat Shark goggles used to fog up. What are you going to do? They added a fan. You could maybe add a fan. I also thought of trying some, like when I played paintball, we used some spray that we wiped in our lenses to keep them from fogging. So that might help. And I haven't tried it yet, but I was going to, but like I said, I haven't had any fog happen since that one day. So that's it basically. I mean, pretty much I think I've covered everything, so I think that will conclude my review of the Eachine VR-007 FPV goggles from GotHeliRC. I'm going to go ahead and put a link in the description below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe. And thanks for watching.